was school?
Gee, swell. Hey, you know what the kids in the 5th grade had in their room? An incubator.
Really?
Yeah, and you know what they had in it? Eggs. And you know what the eggs did?
Yes, I can imagine they hatched.
Yeah, and you know what came out?
Of course I do, Dennis.
Well, they gave me one. Can I keep it?
Oh, I suppose so, as long as you take care of it and feed it.
Sure I will. Have we got any raw meat?
Raw meat?
Sure. That's what you gotta feed baby alligators.
Yeah, that's the only thing I'm picking up.
Here I am again, Mr. Wilson.
Yes, in a haunted house.
George.
And the groans you hear are coming from me.
Have you got a tummy ache, Mr. Wilson?
I've got a pain, Dennis, but it's not in my stomach. All right, let's see.
We are in a section of a house that belonged to Joseph Kearns, Mr. Wilson from Dennis The Menace. This was his farm, and in the 40s he added this section to house what was considered to be the biggest organ in the world. It had been at CBS, which was over near Vine and Sunset, and when they moved to Beverly and Fairfax, they didn't want the organ, and Mr. Wilson, as we call him, really wanted it. So he built this place especially for it, and the organ, the body of the organ was in this alcove right here, and the pipes were in this room next door, and upstairs there was baffling. We will go to the upstairs where the pipes and the baffling, it's called, was.
Interesting.
And after he passed away, the people that took over the property had tours. Actual busloads of people came here to see the biggest organ in the world.
I'll be talking.
And they would peek out at them from that little secret window up there.
I'll be darned. Now, what kind of ghostly phenomena has taken place here that you know of, Laurie?
Well, I might mention that the couple that gave the tours, the woman in the couple died in this house of cancer. Wow. And she also loved the organ. And they have heard, there's someone that sleeps in that room and someone that sleeps in a loft where the baffling was. They hear footsteps running from in there, up the steps to where the baffling is. They hear an imaginary stool being pulled to the entrance and someone climbing up and walking right to the edge of the bed.
Wow.
And once she said, "Go away. Mr. Wilson, if that's you, get out of here," she said, and she heard footsteps run away. And when they're downstairs, they hear creaking noises upstairs.
How interesting. Wow. Well, that's great. This is a very interesting place. And as we mentioned earlier about this window behind us, that was before the Pep Boys was built, probably afforded them a luxurious view of downtown Hollywood, I would assume.
Sure, we looked right out to beautiful Hollywood Boulevard and a movie theater that's now the Henry Fonda.
That's quite interesting. Okay, thank you. How was it, Bear?
Yeah, it's good. Nice light camera.
Bear, what'd you find here?
There's several.
Look at all these dolls. Look at this.
So this is someone's room.
Holy cow, look at this.
That's what.
Wow. David Cassidy.
It must be. I mean,
I don't think so.
That's Eric Estrada. isn't it?
Uh-huh.
That's just something that, Emmerich's a painter, and that's his current.
He's showing off.
An automatic feeder.
When you came in,
Yeah,
you thought it was the furniture, but now you think it's something.
It's depressed. It's depressing. It's real strong.
I'm getting a weird sense of the bedroom there. Very strange sense of the bedroom.
Do you feel it more here or where?
Bedroom, it almost feels like
The
the
whole
bedroom
house.
feels dense.
The whole house. Everywhere I'm walking.
It's real dense in here. I don't know why. The air is just real dense. Look at this. Look at this thing. Jesus.
What do you see, Barry?
Look at this painting. Pretty spooky.
Emmy,
Oh,
he's
just
the
a sec.
sweetest guy.
Huh?
He's the sweetest guy.
Oh, this is the guy's bedroom?
It's a couple,
Oh.
but Emmerich paints.
I'm not saying it's nothing about the people. I'm just getting a. It feels dense in here. It feels. I can't be more specific than that.
Could this be the room in which she passed?
Maybe it feels real. Like staticky, dense.
You feeling it here, Jeannette?
Cold.
What do you think of the closet?
Difficult to get into. These people don't feel depressed in here.
And the people
I
in
almost hit my
here,
head.
they haven't heard anything, you know.
One couple, that girl by herself and somebody
And a
else.
guy downstairs by himself.
Someone died here, you said earlier. Who was it that died?
A lady who
The
gave
wife.
the tours.
Was this her room?
Where else? You know, when you look at the layout of the house, unless
Yeah.
it was that room, little room that we were in with the lunch boxes. But I would think it was this room and then a little patio.
This is a little bigger, yeah.
Yeah, and there are closets here. And
Yeah.
there aren't in the other room.
What do you feel right now?
My nose is burning. Since I walked in the house,
This
my nose
is where
burning.
the respiratory
It's
problem
it's
was
burning
here.
stronger in here.
I wonder if she had lung cancer. Because
Okay.
this
I
is
could
where
find
my eyes and nose are burning right up through here.
Yeah. my
I
nose
just
is
feel
really
sick.
burning.
I just feel sick in here. I feel nothing to do with the way the place is decorated or painted or the furnishings. I feel like it's very thick, dense, a sense of illness.
Do you feel heat coming over you right now? I do too.
Yeah, my head,
It's like a wave of
especially
heat.
my head.
Fever?
Yeah, I feel sweaty. I feel like
Yeah,
I've got a wave of
like I'm
sweat
sick.
coming over me.
Like I'm sick.
Yeah.
My heart,
My head
heart's
hurts.
beating. My heart's beating. Oh, like it's compensated. As if like you're sick. You know, you feel your heart beating more rapidly. Yeah.
Okay, what do you feel like you want to say?
I'm getting
My head
pressure
is really
right here. Real strong pressure. It feels like something's pushing in on
Yeah.
it.
And what do you feel there?
Pressure, frontal area here.
And I feel it
And
too.
nausea
I
and
feel
sweaty.
pressure here, pain, headache.
Uh-huh. Huh.
And I never feel that stuff.
Contamination.
Wow.
You whack your head right off here really easily. Jesus, and I'm short. I hit my head here.
Well, this is hot temperature-wise
Yeah,
right here.
it's hotter because we're higher up.
Yeah.
This idea of a beam here is like, God.
I know.
Wake up in the middle of the night, whack.
Well, this was just their probably attic storage, I'll bet you.
Yeah.
Now, this is where the baffling was for the organ. The pipes, that they would have to come up here and adjust the openings, and that's why there are these shutter things behind you, Jeanette,
Uh-huh.
these things.
Uh-huh.
It's where, you know, like in the big old organs where the pipes would go up through the roof,
Yeah.
you know, that's what, the pipes came all the way up here.
Look at here. It's howdy doody time.
And then these were the
Hey,
shutters.
honey. They got a
40-year-old
clock.
clock.
They got a clock in here that said, "What time is it?" It's howdy doody time. Oh, really? Where's that?
Doody time.
It's pretty amazing. I haven't seen
Oh, I love
this
it.
as a
I know, I've never seen one of these.
Isn't that great?
Oh, well, howdy doody, kids, and hey, Mr. Smith. Hi, little guy, howdy. And Clarabelle, look at all the kids at home and all the kids in the gallery. What time is it, kids? Howdy doody time.
Remember when you were a little girl?
Yeah, that was my favorite show.
I know, you got crayons and colored on your TV, didn't you?
I smell gas, some kind of natural gas.
You smell it? Strong.
Yeah, very strong.
I smell it right here. Come over this way.
Why am I so out of it?
You smell honey right there?
What does it smell like? Sweet?
Gas.
Right here, right here.
No, gas.
Do you
gas.
smell it?
No.
Smell what?
It's strong.
I don't smell
Can't you
anything.
smell it?
Yeah.
You do?
I smell it.
I don't smell anything.
Maybe she has a gas leak.
Light a match. No, we'll find out real fast.
I definitely smell it.
I
Yeah.
smell it. I'm starting to hyperventilate from breathing in so much.
It's real strong.
It's moving, which is weird. If it's something come on.
Well, they have a window open upstairs, which would, don't they?
In the screen in the screened porch
Yeah,
is open.
so it would make wind shift or air shift a little bit. You still don't smell it?
It's buried. You see these pictures? God.
Oh, I know that picture.
God.
I don't smell it.
We should have this in all haunted houses. It's pretty spooky stuff. Look at this. God. Oh, it's coming. It's coming.
You're terrible. If he's in here, I would just freak.
If what?
If the guy who lives here was in here and I just walked in, even though there's signs on the door and it's,
Well-
oh right, he catches me in the act. I mean, I'm sure he just didn't want us going through his things, but
We'll pull off the note and say it wasn't on the door.
We can go through his things. This is the guy who lives in here. This is his artwork.
Looks like the guy just died.
Tell me if you feel anything in here too.
No, I can see why he didn't want us coming in here.
Yeah, it's a mess. That's the
There's
only
nothing in
reason.
here to see.
Well, the pipes of the organ used to be
Yeah.
in here, and this is where they hear the footsteps emanate from. This room, up the steps, to the back.
Nothing.
Just junk. Guy's a slob.
So you didn't stay in your room?
I bet if you had a nice ladder, you could really get some good lemons for lemon meringue pie.
Pie.
Where, out here?
See the lemons in
Yeah,
the
and
top
fresh
of the
lemons
tree?
are always better than the ones you're buying.
I
in the
have
market.
lemons on my trees.
Yeah, the lemons and oranges you could grow on your property.
I
are
have
always
oranges,
better.
I have 2 orange
And
trees.
this house,
and I
just
have
to the
fresh
right,
trees.
this little
So
section
much
to
better.
the right of
Yeah,
where
my
you're
tourists
shooting
leaves and
was the
oranges.
servants'
What's that?
quarters that was added,
I
and
used
this
to
is
put
where, in the
I used to
60s,
see one of the
Jimi
ones-
Hendrix lived.
Oh, it's not bad.
There apparently is an underground basement,
Uh-huh.
and it's soundproof, so no one got to hear him practicing.
Right here.
Underneath here, yes, and a young boy, about 9 or 10, just recently saw a ghost in the living room. He lives here alone with his mother. He heard a noise in the living room and went to see what it was and saw a white, filmy mass zip out of the living room when he went in.
And that was right down here.
Yeah. Yeah, just a month ago.
Plum preserve.
Oh, that'd be good, yeah.
I've got those purple plums. Those, I forgot the name of them.
And 2
Sweet.
different
Big ones,
ghosts
sweet.
have been seen upstairs in the later house that was built in 1912. I think the Kearns family used to rent rooms out to people who came in from out of town to entertain. They were maybe working at the Palace or the Palladium nearby, and they just needed a room for a week, and I guess it was a good way to make some extra money. So apparently the story goes that one couple had an argument, and the man kicked the woman out and she killed him. she stabbed him. Many years later, which would put us about 15 years ago, a tenant was living in that apartment and saw the apparition of a person. She couldn't make out whether it was a male or female, and the person had a knife, and everywhere the knife landed, she saw blood. She also claimed she saw blood come out of the faucets, but I don't know if that was true, and she has since passed away. There was another older couple that lived down below, and they lived here for many years and loved this place, and the man of that couple was seen by another tenant upstairs who had never met him. Suddenly an old man was standing in her apartment, and she went down and described him to the two ladies that still live here, and they said, "Oh, that was Mr. So-and-so who used to live here in the 50s and 60s. And she said, "Well, he was just in my bedroom." And he had told the old ladies, "After I die, I'm going to come back here and check up on the place." Apparently he did. A lot of earthquake damage. It was red tagged, but I think they're going to fix it.
Wait till the next series of quakes and then just tear it down.
I know. One of the ladies is moving out. She's had it.
She's getting out of Southern California.
No one needs locusts.
Well, they said that California has 4 seasons now: earthquake, fire,
Floods.
yeah, they
Flood, riots,
yeah, riot season.
You sit up in your hair. We have like this article I'm running for that magazine. It says LA is known for many things. You know, great weather, some great beaches, something like that. Great cuisine, earthquakes, fires, floods, riots, and now we have another fault, and it's not under the ground. It's ghosts. That's how I start the article off. And you thought it was safe. We have another fault in LA, and it's not under the ground. It's called a ghost. I mean, we have another unique commodity.
So, all right. I'm sorry nothing happened,
okay.
but you were overwhelmed
It's
with
really
that
strange.
feeling.
Yeah.
That's wild.
Very strange.
But you don't feel anything particular down here. But you smelled that gas. What do you think that was?
I'm skeptical. You know, I don't like to
Could have just been
assume
gas.
it could have been just gas. You know, I
Or
like
the-
to assume that it's something else. You know, it could be reasoned out.
And do you feel anything here by where the organ was?
Suddenly hear the toccata and fugue and D minor playing, and there's no.
This whole place is depressing to me, especially that one room.
God, their
That room
bedroom.
was a painful room. The whole house is depressing as a dickens.
Homes are, did you tell them about the other homes here? I wish you guys could go in there, I really do.
Yeah, those would be wild.
So
ones
go
that
ahead,
used to be
tell your
part of
story.
this?
Yeah, the ones in front are haunted.
Yeah,
Well,
tell your story.
when is it? Well, when I first moved in, they were always going out of town. Giselle and Emmerich and Chad was always going out of town. So I was in the house by myself, and I didn't have my cats in there. And I kept hearing people or something running up the stairs. And I kept hearing, like, it felt like someone was behind me because I had my bed in the center of the room and like space on either side of the bed, you know, like nightstands on either side. So it felt like someone was always on the side where the louvers were. If I could feel something, and I thought that was weird. It felt like a cat, but I didn't have my cats. So then I started hearing footsteps because I didn't have the rug up there. I had wood. So I started hearing footsteps next to me, and that was giving me the willies. So then one night when they were all gone, I heard footsteps, and it scared me. Everyone was gone, so I went and slept in the Elvis room where the lunch boxes are. And then I heard someone walking up the stairs, like the stairs creaking, you know, like carpet, you know. And so I was, oh, this is crazy. So I went back up into the loft, and I heard footsteps again on the side. I'm like, this is really weird. So I ran back down and laid in the Elvis room, and then finally I just yelled, I said, please, do you mind? I'm trying to get some sleep. So then when everyone came back, he came back. And we held a little altar, you know, one night, and we said, Mr. Wilson, we just hope that you're going into a nice place, because we lit a candle, because he was scaring the crap out of me, quite frankly. I just call him Mr. Wilson because Mr. Wilson, you know, the house.
Character.
So, yeah. So I haven't heard him in a while, though.
When's the last time anything happened?
How long ago was that?
Actually, a couple weeks ago, something happened. I felt someone on the side of my bed.
During March?
Yeah. And Chad, I told my roommate Chad about it. He doesn't want anyone in his room. He's afraid to find out if there's spooks in his room. He's a big baby. So I told Chad about it, and he said it was all in my mind. But I felt something And it wasn't my boys.
When's the last time you heard anything, like footsteps? Several months ago?
Yeah, at least right before the earthquake.
Right before the quake?
Uh-huh.
I came down the stairs, and there's a combining wall against the old maid quarters and one of our house walls. And just as I was coming down the stairs, kind of out of the corner of my eye, I saw like a light, like white energy. There was not a human form to it, but there was just a lot of energy in one space. And then I turned to look back, and it had completely dissipated.
There was
And that
also,
was all.
remember
That's
the
all I saw.
time she had food in on a plate, and there was like 5 of us standing in the kitchen, and her plate literally flew out of her hand, was lifted out of the hand.
Yeah.
Now, these things never happened to you before you lived?
No, not in this particular house. In other homes, I've had other experiences, but yeah, this is
What type of physical type things or mental?
Yeah.
Physical. One thing was physical. I was sleeping with my mom on the night we moved out of the house. We'd moved our mattress into the living room. It was an old house in a canyon, and I felt like I had astral projected out of my body. And the only reason I later came to this conclusion was because I was dancing with this a spirit who was in a coachman's outfit from the neck down, but he no longer had a human head. He just had like almost like a circular pumpkin head, and he had like very slit eyes, and he had this jack-o'-lantern smile. And I kept, as we were dancing, I kept saying, "Don't smile at me like that, or I won't dance with you anymore." But he was so mischievous, he couldn't stop smiling, so I got scared, and I flew into my mother's body. This is what she felt. She woke up, she said I was sleeping next to her, and she said, Giselle, you were inside of me. And I said, and I felt myself go back into my own body, and I said to her, I said, I don't know if this is going to make sense to you, but I said, Mr. Abernathy, who was a friend of hers, his wife had just died, and I said, Mr. Abernathy's wife has died tonight, and he's okay, and he'll call you tomorrow to tell you. So I went to sleep, and in the morning my mom woke me up, and she got a phone call, and Mr. Abernathy, her friend, called and said, my wife has passed away.
How long ago was this?
Oh God, I think it was over 10 years ago. I must have been about 12 years old. Yeah.
A couple years ago, I was at my grandmother's house. She died, my grandparents died, both. My grandfather died in the house, and my grandfather said to my dad, "When you move in a house, I don't want you moving the junk into the house," meaning my dad's furniture. So we moved all my dad's furniture in the house, and I was cleaning the dining room, and I saw the chair go over there, go all the way across the floor right by itself, just move. I was like, okay. All right.
Do. Hey, try
Thank
to
you.
I'll be here all
Nana.
week.
Yeah. I was like, okay.
When you had these experiences, Giselle, did you have any loss of time?
Very momentarily, I felt like I didn't know where I was.
And the man with the head, what color was he?
Oh God.
Is that a little bit more?
I don't remember him being in color. I had no mouth. And then it would just light up.
And where were you living at the time?
Pacific Palisades.
This is 12 years ago. This is 1982.
That sounds about right. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Did you ever have any unusual marks in your body you couldn't account for around that time? Like scars or injuries?
Not that I
or
remember, no.
Why?
Just curious.
But I don't know. It's funny that sometimes when I think this is probably just me, but sometimes when I relax, and I don't know, maybe that's what I was saying the other day, but sometimes when I relax and I'm about to go to sleep, I can just see energy kind of coming together, and pulsating like this, and then sometimes I'll see some faces and sometimes I won't. And it's like I can't move. I don't know, it's a strange feeling. It's like a surge of electricity is going through me almost, and I want to move, but I can't move.
And this is when you're going to sleep.
Before I go to sleep, yeah.
Do you have problems sleeping?
No, I'm okay sleeping, generally.
It was so depressing. I was like at the verge of tears.
Is that you?
I don't know.
It's a sad house.
It's kind of a sad house.
I always thought it was sad.
Mm-hmm. You did?
Yeah.
Neighborhood's kind of
What?
sad.
The whole neighborhood's kind of
depressing.
sad.
It's
Yeah.
just
It's
a
all
big place.
neighborhood.
Marguerite said it was
I
built
mean,
by
who has
one guy
razor
in
wire back
Oregon.
in their house?
This guy.
But your body hasn't.
Where
Because
else
when you go to
have I
sleep,
been?
your body's paralyzed to prevent you
Okay.
from moving around and acting out your dreams.
Or maybe I
And
can
sometimes that mechanism
You
doesn't
can
shut
stay.
down
You're
until your
welcome
mind's
to
awake.
stay.
But your
No,
body's
I
still
work too,
paralyzed,
but-
you can't do anything.
But I can stay for.
Remember that because the state of subconscious, she was in when it happened, it was altered, and who knows what happened. But it sounds like she had a very unusual experience.
Oh, yeah.
But also her experience was masked, heavily masked by what they masked it with something else. So it wouldn't surprise me. I don't think that's why I didn't want to even bring it up. You've been abducted.
Oh, great Scott, another miserable day has started.
Now, George, you'll be nice to him. He's very fond of you.
Well, I'd rather have a boa constrictor fond of me.
Okay if I come in?
Of course, Dennis.
I got some new rocks to show you, Mr. Wilson.
I think I'll go up and take a nap.
George, it's only 9 o'clock in the morning.
Well,